Hey guys, grab a cup of coffee. We're going to go over some updates in regards to Jeremy Dewitte and his violation of probation and also his new charges, which total was 10, 9 for one case and one additional case with a single count. So he's got 10 pending felonies. Now, this investigation's been going on a while with the new stuff, and he has accumulated these new felony charges after he was tried for his other stuff. But the violation of probation and how that's being related to the stolen valor side of it, I've been in contact with people. I've sent emails. I've sent information. Windermere Police Department actually has evidence on file from Jennifer Burton in regards to his AT&T telephone account, where he fraudulently received that account as a veteran and received a discount for it. That clearly violates both federal and state stolen valor statutes, because there is a monetary gain from that. He's not paying as much, and he is receiving a service, goods, or benefits from it. And like I said, I've got that stuff out there, just waiting to hear back from some people. Also with the media, I think the media has probably filed their own Freedom of Information Act's requests in regards to any military records that may be on file for him, which we know there are none. It's been checked by several people. Originally, it was checked by Don Shipley. It was checked by another individual who I had on the show here on one of my videos, who got one of the original returns back. So we know the military thing he's never been in, never could be in, never will be in. He's a legend in his own mind, as always. But I'm sure he's still spewing those lies while he's incarcerated to anybody who'll listen. So in regards to the violation of probation, let's go over there and take a look at the violation of probation court docket. All right, so I skipped the first part of it. I'm not going over the charges again because we all know what they were. But the 23rd, he had a hearing, and that case to remain as set for a plea conference. So there's some documents that have been posted since then. Also on the 23rd, the violation report second. It's been amended, 9 pages, not going through it. I want to wait until we find out a little bit more. There was also a notice of supplementary discovery that was sent to his attorney, Amir Ladin, and it's been set again for the 20th of February and then the 23rd of February. On the 26th, that hearing, the state places offer on record. So there is a plea offer on record, and it hasn't posted yet. I'm curious to see if that will post, and if it does, I'll probably throw something in the community with a picture of it or whatever and let you know what it is. I'm going to try and use my little community tab just for these little short, brief updates. But today's update is going to be a little bit more than that. So I'm sure the state weighed its options, and I'm sure that the state thinks that if they go to trial with this in regards to the violation of probation, that it's going to be a done deal. But they actually placed some type of an offer on record. Now, what that offer could be, I have no idea. I am assuming it's going to include some type of prison time. The max he could get was, I think, all calculated together, it was like 70 years or something, and we know that's not going to happen. But he may end up, 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know what that offer would be. But that's something we're going to have to wait and see on. Like I said, there's a 9-page document here, and you can go to Orange County Florida court records, look up Jeremy Dewitte, and all this stuff's available. You can look at it, you can read it, you can download it. I've got so much of his crap. I've actually got a separate 64 gig thumb drive that I've got all this stuff on. But this is yet again, I'm just bringing it up from Probation Officer Woods, and how it occurred, and they go through all of it, 9 pages, and it talks about all the violations of the conditions, and what Jeremy didn't do to comply with those conditions, and the recommendations of the probation officer. Basically, the probation officer is saying that he needs to be kept in jail because he's going to violate, and he's got a history of violating. I think 5 out of 6 previous probation terms that he's served, he's violated. So, when the court looks at that, they don't look at it very favorable in regards to allowing him to be out in public any longer, and keeping him under lock and key for a while. Not that it's going to do any good. It obviously doesn't, because he just continues to rack up felonies and felonies and felonies and felonies. And a lot of this stuff is just now starting to catch up to him. So now what I want to do is I'm going to do, and this is going to be the long part here, going over the new felony charges. And I am preparing a letter to send out on this in regards to a possible fraudulent insurance application where he does in fact violate the Stolen Valor Act, both federal and state. If it's going to gain any traction, I don't know. I haven't been able to gain traction on hardly anything with this because they don't seem to care about it. But I would like to see him charged with it and found guilty for it, because that will take away any doubt about his military career. I have no doubt that he never served in the military, never did any of the things he claimed. There's absolutely zero doubt in my mind that he ever did any of that. So, anyway, let's get on to the new stuff. All right, as I stated, he's got 2 open cases, one with 9 counts, one with 1 count, for a total of 10. Gotta love it. And he's got a public defender who has been assigned to him. So, let's take a look. All right, so here are the charges. Charge 1, false and fraudulent motor vehicle insurance application. 2, he failed to register a vehicle that was insured. 3, fraudulent motor vehicle insurance application. 4, fraudulent insurance claims. 5, obtained property, communication fraud. Staging a motor vehicle crash, false and fraudulent insurance claim, again, obtained property, and an organized scheme. So they actually charged him with the whole insurance scheme thing. Now, this one didn't have a lot of documents at first when I was looking at it, and as I look at the docket events here, he's had his first appearance on January 20th, and they finally posted the court minutes. And I haven't looked at the court minutes yet, but the one thing I really want to look at is right here at the very bottom. I just highlighted that. It's a 12-page document, and that is the affidavit to issue a warrant. And this is the arrest warrant for these charges. And let's take a real quick look at the court documents. All right, this is nothing more than a check sheet. However, what you're going to see is they had an original bond set for these charges, but that has been stayed due to the fact that he is in jail on other charges, the violation of probation right now. So there's going to be no chance of him getting bond on these. Order probable cause determination, it's not filled out, nothing else, and then it's signed. So court minutes are crap. Yeah, it's the same thing. So the court minutes really don't tell us anything. But this affidavit to issue a warrant. Now, this is when a law enforcement officer or a detective or someone who is a sworn officer of the law goes in front of a judge or a magistrate with an affidavit in regards to probable cause to receive a warrant for someone's arrest. I've done numerous times I've had to do this. It's a pretty lengthy document, this one being 12 pages, and we'll go over that. And that's why I said this is probably going to be a long one. Get yourself a cup of coffee, and I'm going to show you how this all kind of flows in with the stolen valor thing and the letter I'm preparing to go to certain individuals in regards to this to see if they can add those charges on. So let's take a look at the document. Like I said, 12-page document. So, affidavit for arrest warrant, State of Florida versus Jeremy Charles Dewitte. They give his information, a photograph. Comes now the affiant, Detective Michael Warner, who will be known thereafter as the affiant. He's a sworn law enforcement officer, and he makes this affidavit, which has been personally submitted, where he has to appear at the court with this affidavit and swears under oath that he has probable cause to believe and does believe that certain laws have been violated in Orange County, Florida. So this is pretty standard throughout law enforcement, regardless of where you are. So now he talks about the counts. So we got count 1, and he lists the statute and what it actually says in the statute, and lists the severity of felony 3, felony 3, felony 3, felony 3, felony 3, felony 2, felony 3, felony 3, felony 3. So there's your 9 counts. The next section is usually where the law enforcement officer puts their training, their experience, and that type of stuff for whoever judge or magistrate that they're going in front of to get this warrant. Very standardized throughout law enforcement. So he lists all of his, where he's employed, what he does, his experience, his schooling, his training, and that's listed. And I'm not going to go over Detective Warner's background. He's more than qualified to be doing what he's doing. Okay, this affiant is submitted for the limited purpose of developing probable cause for an arrest warrant. All facts discovered during this investigation have not been included. Nearly all recorded statements obtained by your affiant in this course of his investigation were surreptitiously, and I probably destroyed that word, recorded in accordance with. So basically all of his recorded stuff is under a Florida state statute. All right, so we're going to go right into count 1. And this is in regards to an insurance application. So Dewitte submitted an insurance application to E-Surance Insurance Company. So he got insurance on the Durango, got insurance on the F-250. And it was listed in his wife's name, and he was an additional driver added to reflect J. Dewitte. Yet again, an alias that is known for Jeremy Dewitte. And I love the way he does this, as per his sexual offender registration. He documents everything, emails, vehicles, all of that stuff, and it's great. So he tells them what he's got and how he got it, and it's covered. It's great. So the insurance application had a statement printed on it which read, "You have indicated that none of the above vehicles are used to carry persons, property, compensation for a fee, or retail or wholesale delivery, including but not limited to pickup delivery of goods such as blah, 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 blah. And that it was not going to be driven by employees, and it was not going to be used for a partnership or corporation." He had 2 recorded telephone calls between the defendant and Esurance, which, of course, they record all their calls. It's amazing the detail that he puts into this. But basically, what this is covering is that Numbnuts got the 2 vehicles insured for private use with private insurance and then used it for business, which is a false claim or a false application for insurance. Trying to get, that lower rate to where it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg for the commercial insurance. And man, he really dug down deep in it. And here you go. Your affiant subpoenaed the subscriber records for jd.oakley80@gmail.com. Yet again, another email listed on his sexual offender registration. I love it. Same with the phone numbers. I love it. This guy really dug down in the dirt on all of this stuff and got every piece of information he could. So, and then he talks to DeWitte's wife, and she's like, "I don't know nothing about it. My husband gets the insurance. He got it, and my name's on it, and I don't know anything about what's going on, blah, 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 blah." So they could rule her out as being part of the scheme or part of the fraud that was brought forth. So then at the ending of this charge 1, he states, "As a detective of the Bureau of Insurance Fraud, your affiant knows it is a common scheme for a defendant to provide false and misleading application on a motor vehicle insurance application when vehicles used for business are being insured, as commercial motor vehicle insurance is more costly due to the greater risk to the insurer. Oftentimes, defendants commit motor vehicle insurance application fraud because they either cannot afford the premiums or hope the false and misleading information will never be discovered," basically. So, yeah, bang, bang, all done. That should be a slam dunk. And like I said, he really put a lot of effort into this investigation. All right, so for count 2, he's required through the sex offender registry, any vehicles that are registered or he is a listed operator on have to be listed. And let's see, one of these was not. And he explains exactly everything about it. And that information is supposed to be reported within 48 hours. And he even puts in here, he slams him. It should be noted the sexual offender registration form signed by the defendant had the above sentence in bold capital letters just as it is printed here. Failure to report this information within 48 hours is a third-degree felony. I love it. I love it. And then as a sexual predator, Florida statute 775.21, he outlines that. And then he talks about the vehicle, the 2008 Ford F-250, which was insured. He never told them about that vehicle because it had private insurance on it and it was being used as a company vehicle, and he never listed it on his sexual offender registration. So, bang, bang, all done. And I think at one point he did list it, but it was well beyond the 4. It was 51 days. Here it is right here. The time period between the defendant becoming an insured driver of this vehicle and when the defendant registered this vehicle on his sexual offender registration was 51 days, well past the 2 days required by law, into which the defendant signed a statement indicating he understood he only had 2 days to report this information. Man, this guy's my hero as far as writing affidavits. He really does a great job with this affidavit. Then we go down to count 3. Fraudulent motor vehicle insurance application, yet another one. And this is on a Dodge Charger. 3 Dodge Chargers. 3? No, 2 Dodge Chargers and a Chevy Impala. Yet again. And they listed that the vehicles had no prior damage, and I think he's wheeling that up into some of the other charges. And this was with Geico Insurance. Let's see. Oh, General Assurance Corporation, DBA The General. So this is another fraudulent application to the General. Private insurance company vehicles. And he outlines where the defendant answers on these applications that displaying of a company logo and all of that stuff is a no-no for this type of insurance. And at the time of this application, the Dodge Charger registered to Metro State Special Services. Metro State Vehicle Protection Unit was registered to Jeremy Dewitte as a known alias of the defendant. This is great. And all of that information came from his sexual offender registrations, which is awesome. The emails that he used and the phone numbers that he used. This is great. This is great. And as we scroll down, here we go. Count 4. Count 4 and count 5. False and fraudulent insurance claim under $20,000. And you'll notice right here we got USAA Insurance Company claim. So this is where it gets really interesting, because Jeremy is not a veteran, and per USAA, you must be a veteran or a legacy of a veteran in order to become insured by USAA, which obviously Jeremy is none of the above. So this, in fact, is yet another violation of the Stolen Valor Act, either federal or state, where he received a benefit, a tangible benefit, goods or even monetary, actually, if you want to look at it, because he saved money on insurance because he claimed to be a veteran. And I am sending this detective this letter. And I think I'm going to send it, I'm probably going to send it registered mail. It'll take a little bit to get there, but this thing's going nowhere quick, and I'm not too worried about it to where they could also file these charges. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. So he obtained a claim file from USAA Insurance Company for this insurance claim. And he is such a scumbag for doing this. On May 18th, 2020, claim notes indicated Jay Dewitte, a known alias of the defendant, called USAA Insurance Company to initiate an insurance claim. USAA Insurance Company provided a recorded telephone call on this same date in which the defendant identified himself by name and described his account of the crash. Ooh. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. So, on June 4th, 2020, the defendant made another recorded statement to USAA Insurance Company. The defendant stated the other driver did something like a pit maneuver on his Metro State Special Services vehicle, protection unit vehicle. But he was able to recover from it and slowed to a stop. The defendant stated he provided his own dash camera footage to the trooper, and once the trooper saw it, he stated, "Oop, yeah, there it is," and determined the other driver changed lanes into the defendant's vehicle and determined she was at fault. All right. I like how he tries to use some kind of a law enforcement type thing with a pit maneuver. Jeremy's such a turd. He just is. Also included in the claim were several emails from the defendant's email address to USAA Insurance Company. Now, I'm not sure if he was insured by USAA or the other driver was insured by USAA. So I'm not sure if this is going to fit or not. This is the first time I'm reading this, so I'm not sure. Looks like he may have submitted the claim against the other person's insurance company who was insured by USAA. We're going to have to keep going through everything to see if he ever tried to get insurance with USAA. So anyway, he sends a bunch of images, and they figure out that the images were from previous years prior to the accident, and it's crazy. It's crazy. 16th of June, using his Metro State email, he an invoice from Audio Excellence for $1852.04. Four-man labor team, blah, 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 blah. And this is all from previous damage from the photos that he submitted. So let's get down to what the detective says here. Based on his training and experience as a detective within the Bureau of Insurance Fraud, the affidavit knows it's common scheme for defendants to reuse fraudulent invoices and multiple insurance claims across multiple insurance carriers to attempt to inflate the cost of money they are attempting to receive. Okay. I like how he puts alleged crash damage from a crash which occurred May 15th, 2020. The signature line of each email, it's got Jay Dewitte. The USAA Insurance Company was unaware at the time of payment. These photographs were taken prior to the date of loss. So in addition to the $2,000 for injuries, despite not being involved in the crash, the defendant was also issued a check from USAA for $7,490. The memo line read, payment under property damage liability coverage, Jay Dewitte, 2009 Chevy Impala 4-door police. So they paid him a bunch of money on fraudulent claims from damage from previous whatever, recklessness on his part. Pretty crazy. And that was counts 4, 5. Count 6, 7, and 8. Staged motor vehicle crash. False and fraudulent insurance claim. under 20,000. And then communications fraud, 300. So October 11th, 2020, he was involved in another motor vehicle crash in Orlando County, Florida, driving a 2012 Chevy Tahoe, registered to Metro State Services Vehicle Protection Unit, when it collided with a 2008 Mercedes-Benz SUV. I saw the video on this. Friday had the video up on this. So guess who the detective meets with? He later meets with Jennifer Burton, who was a passenger in the defendant's vehicle at the time of crash, and obtained a sworn audio-recorded statement. Miss Burton informed your affiant the crash was not done accidentally, but it was done intentionally. She stated the defendant informed her, let me get to it, let me get it up here so you guys can see it, he purposely collided with the other vehicle as it was attempting to go around the defendant's vehicle in a turning lane to cause this crash, so he would be able to receive funds from an insurance claim and to protect the families in the funeral procession. How is that protecting the families in the funeral procession, crashing into somebody? The gerbils in his head must just run around in circles all day, I swear to God. So by intentionally ramming into a moving vehicle, he's trying to make other people safe. So the detective's well aware of staged crashes and the large settlements participants hope to earn from their participation in these staged crashes. Miss Burton's statement to him, purposely colliding with another vehicle so insurance money could be earned, is in line with these intentions of drivers of other stage crashes cases your affiant has investigated and made arrests on. So, yeah. Then he interviewed the other driver. The other driver said he sped up and crashed into him. Dewitte received a $10,000 settlement from Mr. Smith's insurance company, which raised his premiums. The detective reviewed the claim related to this, and this was through Infinity Insurance Company. So yet another insurance company involved. And then, of course, Tim Witt writes a email using his sex offender registry email to Infinity Insurance Company. And they attach images and invoices. Then he sends another one on December 7th, says he puts it all back together. He sent several other emails. There were 4 invoices sent from the defendant to Infinity Insurance Company in support of his claims. 5 months, and yet again, in support of another insurance claim from a crash in May of 2022, 5 months prior to this crash. So Jeremy's submitting these documents on multiple crashes from multiple vehicles. This is nuts. It's really kind of crazy. I don't know how he could think he would not get caught for this. And then he's got all these things that all these invoices that he filed. Has a $13,000 invoice from Audio Excellence for motorcycles. And this was a Chevy Tahoe. So if you ever wondered how Jeremy was making his money to get all these vehicles outfitted, he was committing insurance fraud to get his money to outfit these vehicles. Wow. So they looked at the photographs. USAA Insurance Company checked the metadata on the photographs and discovered they were all taken in 2019, the year prior to this crash. Now, I don't know, and I've got to dig a little bit deeper, and hopefully I get some response from the detective on this to see if, in fact, Jeremy had USAA insurance or if this is related to somebody else's insurance. So that's the question. It's not real specific as to who he's committing fraud with. So Metro State agreed to accept $10,000 from Infinity Insurance Company in exchange for the defendant releasing Mr. Smith from any and all damage claims. Claim file notes: Infinity Insurance Company indicated they received the release and were issuing payment to Dewitte. So he got 10 grand out of that one, which is just mind-boggling. But he's going to pay for it now. March 22nd, count 9. This is the scheme where he shows the scheme by listing all these other counts, all these other fraudulent claims, all these other fraudulent applications where there's a scheme to his insurance fraud. And that's how he's basing this and requesting that, this warrant be issued for all of this. So kudos on him. He did an amazing job on that. Hats off. Amazing job. So that covers those 9. And those are pretty much insurance fraud. And yet again, Jennifer Burton throwing Jeremy under the bus. I mean, under both sets of back wheels, under the bus. All right, now we're going to move on to the last case, single charge, third-class felony. Okay, on this one, court minutes are there. There's not much in it. No idea when this is going to pop up again. I'm going to keep an eye on it. We do have another affidavit to issue a warrant, and we're going to look at that. That's where you get the meat and potatoes of all of this. So yet again, and this is Detective Michael Warner. Same thing. Count 1. Deposit bank item with intent to defraud. This one is really interesting. And I'm going to kind of summarize it because I know this is going to be a long video and I don't want to bore you guys to death with it. But this one is pretty interesting. And he gives his background, his training. So he was investigating Dewitte for several crimes related to fraudulent insurance claims and fraudulent insurance applications in both Orange and Polk counties. During the course of that investigation, an employee and friend of the defendant, here we go, employee and friend of the defendant, Jennifer Burton, reached out to your affiant, the detective, and requested to meet. During a meeting, Miss Burton explained she was aware the defendant deposited a check into his business checking account which was not his, but instead belonged to a neighboring business of the defendant's business. She stated the defendant informed her he took the check and she stated it really wasn't a mistake, and an employee from the business where the check should have gone kept contacting her. Excuse me. So this guy's like, well, and that falls under the fraud, something that this detective from the division, the fraud division, he looks into this, and what happened was, all right, so he obtained via subpoena account records of the defendant's business checking account from Mid-Florida Credit Union. The vast majority of the deposited checks to be from various funeral homes for funeral escorts. However, he located one check from Competitive Edge Partners and Consulting, which was made out to Masonry Accessories LLC for $285. So Jeremy committed a felony for $285. He took the check that was addressed to somebody else, that was made out to somebody else, Masonry Accessories LLC, and deposited into Metro State. And Jennifer knew about it, and Jennifer, yet again, tosses him under the bus. Both sets of wheels. So based on Miss Burton's statement, along with seeing the bank records from the defendant's bank, which showed the check, he tried to arrange an interview with Jeremy Dewitte, and he wasn't having it, so he contacted his lawyer. And they contacted his defense attorney, and they declined to arrange an interview with Jeremy. So he outlines the statute and prays that a warrant be issued commanding the director of the State of Florida Division of Investigative and Forensic Services or any of his duly authorized law enforcement detectives and all sheriffs of any other blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's for the arrest warrant, but he's already in jail. So, pretty long one today, guys. I'm going to throw this out at noontime as a premiere. Feel free to make comments in the premiere. I will try to be there to answer questions in the comments. I'm going to do a little more research in regards to the USAA insurance. It really wasn't down clear in those documents that he did in fact have USAA insurance. Could he have? Could he have fraudulently gotten that? Yep, that'd be a violation of stolen valor. It wouldn't be a fraudulent insurance. Well, yeah, it would be. They could charge him again with another fraudulent insurance application. They could do that. But the detective really dug down deep into this, did a great job with his affidavits. I haven't seen any movement yet as to future court dates in regards to this. I think they may be kind of sitting on it, waiting to see what happens with his violation of probation, which has now been pushed off to the end of February. 2 weeks, I'm going on vacation. I'll be gone 10, 12, 14 days. I don't know yet. But when I come back, we'll be right around the time frame of his next violation of probation. And we'll see where it goes. Anyway, guys, hey, if you like the content, make sure you support the channel by becoming a subscriber. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thumbs up helps the algorithm. If you're out there riding on twos, shiny side up, rubber side down. Don't forget to support my 388 Racing YouTube channel. And as always, have yourself a great day.